Today we are beginning our next unit, and this is our audio unit. So far this year we have learned about how a camera works. We've learned the rule of thirds, proper composition, and different types of shots. And we've also learned about lighting. So we've learned all about how we make our videos look good. We make our videos look good through the way we compose our shots, the way we utilize lighting in our shots. So what's next? We need our videos to sound professional as well. So that's where the audio unit comes in. Today we're going to be talking about microphones, how they work, and the different types of microphone accessories that you can use to make your videos sound great and professional moving forward. First, let's talk a little bit about cup phone. Has anybody in class ever used a cup phone? This is where you take two cups and a string, and if you tighten that string and you put a cup up to one person's ear and the other person speaks into the other cup, you can actually hear them from one cup to the other. It works like a telephone would. The trick is the string has to be tight. The reason that cup phone works is because all sound, all audio works through vibrations. That's how our ears work. We hear things through different vibrations that our eardrums pick up. And microphones work in a similar way. When sound waves go into a microphone, there's a little piece inside the microphone called a diaphragm. That diaphragm picks up the tiny vibrations of sound waves and converts them into an audio signal that it will send either into the camera or out of a speaker, whatever you're using your microphone for. So I think it's important for you guys to understand that all audio comes from sound waves and it works through vibrations. Now, we're not going to get too much into the scientific process of how sound waves work and how the microphone works from the inside. Really, what I want you to know are the different types of microphones and how they're used for production. But before we talk about that, I want you to know the number one rule about using microphones. If you've ever been somewhere where they were testing a microphone, they might have done a couple different things. Sometimes you see people testing microphones by tapping on the microphone. Or blowing into the microphone. These are two huge no-nos when it comes to using microphones. Do not ever tap on a microphone or blow into a microphone. Those two things can destroy the microphone. The diaphragm, which we just talked about, that's located inside the microphone, is very fragile. And if you tap on the microphone, or worse, if you blow into the microphone, you can destroy the diaphragm, and then the microphone will be broken. So I want you to know we never tap on a microphone or blow into a microphone. If you're trying to test to see if a microphone is working, simply use your voice to test it. Just say test, 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 1, 2, 3, is this thing on? And you'll be able to know if the microphone is working. Again, never tap on a microphone, never blow into a microphone. Next, we're going to talk about microphone pickup patterns. It's very important that you understand as we start learning about microphones over the next couple days in this class, what category the microphones fall into. All microphones fit into one of three categories, and this depends on how they pick up sound. So different microphones pick up sound in different ways. We have omnidirectional microphones, cardioid microphones, and hypercardioid microphones. You need to put this in your notes today because this is going to be one of our biggest takeaways from today's lesson. So if you'd like to draw a little diagram, I encourage you to do that. That's going to match what I'm putting up on the board for you right now. First, I want to talk about omnidirectional microphones. Omnidirectional microphones pick up audio equally in all directions. So you can see I have a red circle that just popped up on the screen. This shows you that it picks up sound equally in every direction. It doesn't matter where you point the microphone, It's picking up audio equally from all sides. Omni means all. O-M-N-I, that root word there, that means all. So I remember it. Omni starts with an O and the pickup pattern looks like an O, all directions equally. There are some benefits to omnidirectional mics. If you use an omnidirectional mic, the benefit is it can pick up multiple sounds coming from different areas of a room or different directions. So you don't necessarily have to point the microphone at anything. You could just set it up in a central location and it will pick up sound all around. The microphones inside of our camcorders that we use in this class are omnidirectional. They pick up sounds equally from all sides. So if the camera operator is talking behind the camera, it's going to pick up their voice as well as the voice of the person talking in front of the camera. It's omnidirectional. There are some downfalls to omnidirectional. You might pick up a lot of unnecessary noise that you weren't necessarily trying to get if it's picking up from all directions. So all three of these pickup patterns definitely have pluses and minuses. Next, let's talk about a cardioid microphone. A cardioid microphone picks up sound from the front and sides, but it does not pick up sound from the back. So it picks up the most sound in front. This is where you point the microphone, but it's also going to pick up a little sound from both sides as well. And then it does not pick up sound from the back of the microphone. The benefit of this is you do want to point this microphone in the direction that you're trying to pick up sound, but it's not so highly directional that you're going to miss whatever it is you're trying to pick up. So for example, think about a singer at a concert. If Beyonce is on stage and she is singing into her microphone, I want to hear her more than I want to hear the crowd. The crowd is much louder than she is. So we're not picking up sound from behind the microphone. Instead, I'm picking up her voice where she's pointing that microphone at the loudest point. But I'm picking up a little bit of background noise from the sides of that microphone. So I can still hear the crowd. I still know that they're there, but they're not overpowering to the main subject that I'm trying to record on my cardioid microphone. So for this type of microphone, you do point it in the direction that you want, but it will pick up a general area. So it's not as broad as the omnidirectional. It's kind of an in-between. Finally, we'll talk about hypercardioid. A hypercardioid microphone is one that is highly directional. You can see here, it only picks up sound in one very straightforward direction, and then it will pick up a little bit of sound towards the back. A hypercardioid microphone is usually used to get sound at a greater distance. So if I point this microphone across the room, I should be able to pick up only the sound in the exact direction I am pointing it. For example, if I point it towards the back corner towards Miss Kincaid's door, I should be able to hear just the students who are in that exact line. I shouldn't hear students to the left or to the right. When you think about hypercardioid, you can think about if you watch football and on the sidelines, when we're watching football, we hear the players talking on the line of scrimmage right before they're about to hike the ball to begin the play. On the sideline, audio recorders use a hypercardioid microphone to shoot a line down the line of scrimmage and to pick up the audio from the players on the field. Think about how loud that stadium is. These types of microphones can block out that crowd and just pick up audio in that one specific direction. So our three types of microphone pickup patterns are omnidirectional, that picks up sound equally in all directions, cardioid, which picks up sound in the front and on the sides, and hypercardioid, which is a highly directional pickup pattern in one direction where you point it. Think of it like a beam of audio. Now I want to talk to you about two types of microphone accessories that we're going to learn about in this class. The first type you see here on the left is a pop filter. You might have seen these before. They're very popular in recording studios. Pop filters help to block out unwanted noise when you're recording professional audio. So pop filters help get rid of your popping P's, that's what I like to call them, when you're blowing extra air into the microphone because you're making that P sound or a B sound. And so it really makes your audio sound more professional by blocking out some of the unnecessary um, blowing of air that's coming out of your mouth as you record. And then the second type of accessory you see here on the right, that is a windscreen. And the windscreen does just that. It blocks out the wind from microphones. So if you're recording outside or out in the field and it is windy, or you are in a room where there's lots of unnecessary, maybe like air conditioning is blowing around or there's a fan on, it will help block out some of that environmental noise to just pick up what you want. Now I have two example videos here. The first we're going to watch is an example video of a pop filter at play. And the second video we're going to watch is an example of a windscreen. In both of these example videos, you're going to hear differences between microphones when they are not using these accessories and then when they are using these accessories. So listen carefully as you watch these two videos to see exactly what these accessories do and the difference they can make. The first is a very cheesy commercial about a pop filter. Let's watch.
This video will demonstrate the effectiveness of the popper blocker. First, we'll read the popper blocker tongue twister on an SM58 exactly as it comes from the store, with no popper blocker. Hold your ears. Peter Piper needs a popper blocker. Poor Peter Piper pops his P's. Poor Peter Piper bops his B's. If Peter Piper had a popper blocker, Peter Piper wouldn't pop his P's. Peter Piper wouldn't bop his B's. Someone give Peter Piper a popper blocker, please. Now the same mic with a popper blocker installed. No other changes. Peter Piper needs a popper blocker. Poor Peter Piper pops his P's. Poor Peter Piper bops his B's. If Peter Piper had a popper blocker, Peter Piper wouldn't pop his P's. Peter Piper wouldn't bop his B's. Someone give Peter Piper a popper blocker, please. Now we'll show you how well a popper blocker can eliminate breath noise. First, the stock microphone with no popper blocker. We're going to do something you should never do. We're going to blow directly into the microphone. Again, the same mic with a popper blocker.
So as you can see, that was a very, like I said, cheesy commercial for a type of pop filter. But you did hear the difference there. As the speaker is speaking into that microphone, when he did not have the pop filter, we could hear his P's popping. And then when he added that filter, it did make a difference and made his audio sound more professional. Now let's take a look at an example of a windscreen.
Now first of all, I just want to demonstrate, this is obviously the Zoom H2, this is a desk fan. If I turn the desk fan on, you're going to hear some fairly awful sounds coming from the microphone because of the wind noise, and it's going to make life pretty impossible to work with if you're out there in the field. Now Zoom do, when you buy the Zoom H2, they do send you a foam microphone cover. Now if I apply that, and if I put the fan back on, you'll find that it does take care of some of the wind noise, but you've still got that horrible buffeting noise going on in the background, and that again will be enough to ruin your outdoor field recordings. So I found myself faced with this dilemma, and I decided that I would try to make a solution, and this is it. It's taken a lot of planning, it's taken several prototypes to get it right, but now I've got it right. And if I apply it to the mic, and turn the fan on, there should be no wind noise whatsoever. And the beauty of it is it covers the entire microphone, so that there's no danger of the air hitting the bodywork of the microphone, which quite often happens with covers that just sit on the actual microphone area of the mic but don't actually cover the body. You can still get wind noise because you get a resonation from the air hitting the body of the microphone. But with this design, it completely covers the microphone, and so you don't get that problem.
As you saw from that windscreen video, there are different types of windscreens. We saw a foam windscreen. Then we saw that bigger windscreen that he had, which we actually call a dead rat. I know that sounds horrible, but that's the actual name for it, a dead rat. And that's an example you see here on the screen. You notice the differences. When the fan was blowing on the microphone, we had that horrible wind noise. The foam windscreen helped a little bit, and the dead rat worked even more. Okay, now let's talk about your assignment for this unit. For our vocabulary assignment here, we're going to be doing something a little different than the normal word wall that we do. Instead, we're going to be doing microphone presentations. You and a partner are going to be working together to create a presentation for the class explaining your assigned microphone used in video production. You're going to have some time to research your microphone, and then you're going to present it to the class in the form of one PowerPoint slide. So not one PowerPoint presentation, but just one slide. Your class presentation needs to give us the facts about your microphone. So here's what I want you to include in your presentation as you're doing your research. Tell me how the microphone works. When you would need to use this microphone. So what's the purpose of it? Any special features that your microphone has. What sets it apart from other types of microphones? Tell me about the downfalls. Remember, every microphone has its pluses and its minuses. So what are the downfalls of this particular type of microphone? You can tell me about the importance of the microphone in the broadcasting world. So is it used to make movies? Is it used at sporting events? Maybe it's used in radio stations. Tell me where we use this type of microphone. And then finally, you need to identify the type of pickup pattern of your microphone. So is it omnidirectional, cardioid, or hypercardioid? You and your partner must also use some sort of visual to demonstrate your microphone. You can draw, mold, carve, whatever to show some sort of model of your microphone. In the past, I've had students build little fake microphones that they would bring into class to show exactly how it works. So for your microphone presentation, you will be presenting one PowerPoint slide to the class, answering what you see here in bold. And you will also have some sort of visual to go along with it other than your one slide. Keep in mind, good presentations use visuals. Also, keep the words to a minimum on the screen. You shouldn't have paragraphs or blocks of complete sentences on the screen. That's going to be difficult for your viewer to interpret and to digest. Don't read off of the slides. You made this PowerPoint. You should know what it says. Face your audience. Use your voice effectively and your body effectively. If your back is to the audience and you're reading off the slide, that is an ineffective presentation. Instead, you should be standing up at the front of the room, talking to the class and teaching them about your microphone. Make sure you summarize the information for the audience. Your classmates are going to be taking notes on these microphones because they have to know what they are and how they work. So it's important that you summarize for them what they should write in their notes and answer any questions that they have. Here's an example of a one PowerPoint slide that some students made a couple years ago. This is an example of a good visual. You can see the information is well organized on the slide. They told us a definition of a wireless microphone, when it is used, the directionality, and they even included a quick YouTube link to demonstrate how it works and how it sounds. So I'm looking for something like this from you guys as you work with your partner to research your type of microphone.